Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. First tonight, the COVID-19 vaccine will finally arrive in Tasmania next week, with the first vaccinations to take place on Tuesday. Health workers are busy preparing for the historic moment as authorities scramble to find ways to store the doses.
In just 6 days, history will be made at this clinic inside the Royal Hobart Hospital. Tasmania will at last have the best weapon to fight COVID-19.
We absolutely feel ready and we're very excited to actually start vaccinations.
The Pfizer vaccine is expected to touch down in Hobart on Monday. By Tuesday, health staff will be administering the first shots. They're already rehearsing for the big day.
So we have 195 vials, which is in a tray, which is about the size of half of a pizza box, if you can imagine.
Roughly 1,000 doses will be inside. They'll need to be stored at minus 70 degrees. How that will happen long term is still being decided.
The Commonwealth Government is responsible for the procurement of freezers. That process is ongoing. We do have an approved method to be able to store the vaccinations here in Tasmania safely.
Frontline health and quarantine staff are first in line for the jab. Hubs will open in Launceston and the northwest next month. It's expected 14,000 people will be vaccinated by April. GPs are preparing for later stages of the rollout.
We give 85% of the flu vaccines, so we're perfectly placed to give large numbers of COVID-19 vaccines.
Meanwhile, one Victorian woman has been sent home following this alleged quarantine breach in Launceston last Sunday.
No, mate, you're in a lockdown.
The 38-year-old woman will need to return to Launceston next month to appear in court.
Now to some breaking news in Tasmania's border with Victoria is set to reopen this weekend. Now for more, we're joined live by reporter Sean McComish. Sean, this is just in. What's prompted the decision?
Well, good evening, Kim. Well, quite simply, no new cases of community transmission in Victoria after a mammoth number of tests. Victoria now appears to be overcoming the outbreak at the Holiday Inn. Less than an hour ago, Tasmanian Public Health confirmed the state will be classed as low risk on Saturday. But that's dependent on no new evidence of community transmission in the next 48 hours. Non-Tasmanian travellers will still be barred from entering Tasmania until then. But this is quite clearly good news, especially for tourism operators relying on the busy summer trade. Kim?
A South Australian man has been rescued from Trestle Mountain after becoming stranded. Authorities say the 20-year-old became overwhelmed after climbing a difficult section of the mountain near the peak yesterday afternoon. He was airlifted out by the Westpac rescue helicopter. Tasmania Police is reminding bushwalkers and mountain climbers to make sure they are prepared before a trip. Tasmanians wanting a mind and body workout are in luck with the 9th annual maze at Rupert's Wood Farm to open next weekend. Organisers have waited with bated breath, with the event able to go ahead despite COVID.
When COVID struck last year, there was no way out of the Rupert's Wood Farm crop maze, forced to close early. This year it's back, with the organisers continuing with last year's wall theme.
We never had closure with the wall maze, so we knew the risks are still really high for us having a maze this year, and we decided to continue with this wool theme, which is such a great theme, all about fibre, about the Tasmanian wool industry.
An intricate process to perfect, with the design and grid coming in from the UK.
We check it out in the GPS here on the tractor. If it's all working well and the starts are where they should be and the ends are where they should be, then we take the GPS off the tractor onto the mower and Rowan just go and mow. He usually mows during the night so he can see the GPS screen really well, and it takes about 3 hours or so.
The maze is a serious workout. It's about 5 kilometres in length and takes most people about an hour to complete, unless you're like me and you get lost. And it's not the first time someone has lost their sense of direction.
Yeah, we get people who are lost. Worst case, it is just essentially a grass crop. You can walk out.
After working up an appetite, punters can pick fresh vegetables, an experience sure to get the green thumbs up. Numbers are capped at 1,000 people a day, with the gates opening next weekend. Elizabeth O'Neill, 7 Tasmania News.
Work is ramping up on a new $300 million housing project in Kingston. The first sod turned today at the Kings Quarter development, which will see up to 80 homes built in the first stage.
As part of this project as well, we hope to be building some office and medical accommodation as well. That's hopefully going to be providing a local employment hub for about 800 people, we hope.
The best approach to busting congestion in Greater Hobart is to bring jobs back to regions, and we'd love to see more jobs here on this site.
Developers have fast-tracked construction due to strong interest and sales. Launceston City has been recreated in virtual form, allowing gamers to build on the city in any way they like. Originally starting off as an educational tool, it's hoped it can engage students to look at professional careers involving city modelling.
It's Launceston, as you've never seen it before, virtually. The city's iconic landmarks like the Seaport and UTAS Stadium, now available in a downloadable map for one of the world's most popular games, Minecraft.
We're really interested to see people take this data and transform it in a way that makes it a bit more interesting.
The possibilities are endless. Redecorate the town hall, make the town clock bigger, or you could finally build a Krispy Kreme store.
I found the shot of the stadium really exciting, and I thought I'd love to get in there and make the stadium really shine.
The data is taken from the city's LiDAR scans, which have been used to model buildings around the CBD.
One of the products that we use to process LiDAR data and other data sets for GIS purposes has a plug-in to make Minecraft worlds.
It's hoped this inventive method of viewing the data engages the next round of engineers who might want to work with geographic information systems.
We were engaging with Kingsmeadows High School students for a careers day, and we thought showing the City of Launceston in a video game would be a great way to get kids interested in the field of GIS.
It is really targeting a different audience, allowing people to get a bit of understanding of the city, what it looks like and what you can do with it.
The map available for schools or for those gamers who just love Lonnie. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
Netball Tasmania is preparing to launch the state back onto the national stage, putting in a bid for a Tasmanian team in the Super Netball competition. The move would see Tasmania enter the league in 2023, even if the bid ruffles some magpie feathers in the process.
In 2017, Tasmania adopted the Collingwood Magpies netball team as their own.
Whilst I think people have gotten behind Collingwood, it's not been able to be a team of their own.
But Netball Tasmania is hoping that will change.
We're looking to put in an expression of interest for a Suncorp Super Netball licence.
If the bid is successful, a Tasmanian team would enter the national competition in 2023, a timeline that would allow Tasmania to complete the final year of its deal with the Magpies. But they'll need a helping hand, asking the state government for $1 million a year commitment to get the team off the ground.
We'll work through the issues with him and do our best to support him.
The state government has recently thrown its support behind efforts for Tasmanian NBL, AFL and A-League teams, and Netball Tasmania is also confident they have a strong case to make.
I guess the league and the broadcaster both are in a position where they've got to determine whether our submission's strong enough to beat out one of the existing teams or whether it's strong enough to warrant expansion of the competition.
Hoping it will create more professional pathways within the state.
A Tassie standalone team brings so much more opportunity for us athletes here. So getting that exposure at that level would be awesome.
Meg Sides, 7 Tasmania News.
The coach of the Tasmania Jack Jumpers has outlined his priorities for attracting players to the team for its inaugural season. Scott Roth only recently arrived in the state after finishing his assistant coaching positions with the Perth Wildcats and says he's open to targeting players from his old team.
That we're going to have some marquee players that we'll at least make an attempt to get. Obviously, there's some great Australian players playing in the NBL when the free agency comes around, and I think we're in a very good position to land some of those. And then I'm just hoping with my NBA connections and the people back in the States to find 3 really good imports.
While the club is preparing for the likelihood of its first season being pushed back following delays to the current season.
The season in reality will probably go to the end of May, maybe even June, which will in all likelihood probably delay the start of next year.
The CEO says the redevelopment is on track to be completed in time for the season to begin in October, with Voss Construction awarded the contract. Richie Port has claimed Australia's cycling's highest honour, the Tasmanian winning the Oppie for the first time, which recognises the country's Cyclist of the Year. Port's accomplishments in the Tour de France and victory in the Tour Down Under last year propelled him to the top gong. The award is named after Sir Hubert Opperman, whose feats were internationally acclaimed in the 20s and 30s. The TSL's new manager Andy Bennett is open to reforming how the state's peak competition looks. In his first interview since taking on the role, Bennett names retaining senior players in the State League as among his biggest challenges.
With the chance to shape the State League, Andy Bennett is keeping an open mind.
I would expect there will be a peak competition. What that looks like, we need to keep looking at.
Bennett's 4 decades of experience includes playing coach of Sandy Bay, along with a lengthy stint coaching Tasmania's State of Origin side. 1995's win over South Australia perhaps is most revered. But Bennett recognises the pressure on the modern State League's prestige.
It's become a younger competition, and we need to look at how one of the challenges there, how do we keep attracting and maintaining the involvement of mature age players in that competition.
With more questions and answers in his early days in the role, Bennett plans to meet with football's full spectrum.
I'll spend time with club presidents, competition managers, look at the data, look at work with the other people in my team to deeply understand where we are now.
A COVID-crippled balance sheet and the clock ticking towards 2023's licence renewal will be among the former Seagulls' stresses. For now, Bennett is riding on passion.
I miss belonging to something that is bigger than yourself, that just really drives and improves the life of others, the growth of others.
The season begins on Good Friday.
Tasmania remains undefeated in the Women's National Cricket League, steamrolling Western Australia by 9 wickets. Belinda Vakuera and Nicola Carey each claimed 2 wickets at Kingston's Twin Ovals. Carey and Sasha Maloney were unbeaten with the bat, surpassing half-centuries. The Tigers easily chased down its target of 171 in just 31 overs. Tasmania is now 3 wins from as many games. A rematch with WA will take place on Friday. And Tasmania's Sheffield Shield clash against Queensland is underway. Caleb Jewell, the clear standout with a maiden unbeaten century. He's at the crease with Nathan Ellis, who's on 15. Jewell marked his return to the side in style, notching up the impressive figures with 20 boundaries to his name. He carried the side with Bo Webster, the next top scorer, with 27. Tim Payne managed 20. Tasmania is 7 for 293 at stumps on day 1. Somerset's Kyron Bacon has been signed by one of the biggest factory teams for this year's Australian Off-Road Championship, Yamaha, taking on the young talent as part of its Blue Crew team. Bacon finished 3rd in the E1 division last year. Round 1 of the series takes place in Nowra in late March.
Good evening, Ouse, Grove and Hobart. Our top today, 29 degrees, Launceston 25, Burnie 22 and Devonport 23. And in the southeast, temperatures up to 8 degrees above average. Campania and Bushy Park 28, Strawn 27, Flinders Island and Friendly Beaches 24 today, King Island 22, Low Head and St Helens 21 and Lyowini 20. Quite comfortable, some low-level cloud over the north, but clear skies prevailed across most of Tasmania. Thunderstorms still active over northern Queensland and the Territory, and a few more over southern WA. Tomorrow the high continues to maintain sway over our region and the east and central parts of Australia. A low and cold front niggle at Western Australia, troughs and multiple lows further north. Winds east to northeasterly 20 to 30 knots and to 20 knots over the west and southeast, lighter winds inland. Strong wind warning, that's from Wineglass Bay to southeast Cape, also from Sandy Cape to Stanley and between the northern extremity of Flinders Island to St Helens Point. Hobart 29 tomorrow and sunny. 31 for Cygnet, a hot day there, and hot for New Norfolk as well, 31 the maximum. Launceston reaching for 26 and partly cloudy, Devonport 23, 27 for Campbelltown. Burnie, partly cloudy and 21. A high of 27 for Strawn. The streak of nice weather in the west continues. St Helens, possible light shower and 22. 25 for Swansea. Fingal, 24 degrees. UV 10 and very high. Sunrise now a half hour later than at the start of the month. On Friday, mostly fine and sunny. 32 now expected in Hobart. A light shower possible over St Helens. Fine over the north on Saturday. Warm again along with a shower for the west, central and south. And on Sunday, fine and mostly sunny in the north. Maybe a shower in the east and possibly the south. Morning showers clearing in Perth, very hot and sunny in Adelaide, fine in Melbourne, a shower or two in Sydney and Brisbane. A lovely twilight at the moment, 26 degrees in Hobart, still sunny, 23 in Launceston, and in Devonport right now it's 21. Lots of barbecues happening tonight, I hope, Kim. And I can officially, after looking at all the data, announce that summer has arrived, but it finishes next week.
You ruin all the good news. Thanks, Murph. That is your news for tonight. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for your company this evening. Good night.